This is TWiT.
We have been waiting for the Valve's new Steam machines for quite a while now, and I think a lot of us, had a number in our heads. I don't remember if we predicted anything last, January 1st, December, whenever we did our prediction show or not. But I know some of us, at least since then, had some numbers, and maybe not cheap, but maybe we're thinking somewhere around $700-800, as I recall. Something more expensive than a console, but still close enough that you could call it a living room gaming box and not feel completely ridiculous. But Valve has finally announced the pricing and pre-order details, and the short version is it is real. It is coming, as Jonathan said. Some people got their hands on some, but it's not exactly cheap. The base Steam machine with 512 gigabytes of storage starts at $1,049, and these are US dollars that I am quoting here for anyone wondering. The 2 terabyte model jumps to $1,349, and if you bundle in the Steam controller, you are looking at $1,120 or $1,428, depending on the storage option. So if you compare this to a PlayStation or Xbox, which the Xbox, I hear just announced a price increase to $800, the price looks a little rough, but and that's the Series X Xbox, for those wondering. But even with console prices rising, it doesn't really quite fit into that range very nicely. But if you compare against a gaming PC, it gets a little more reasonable. Valve is not really selling this like a traditional console. They're selling it more like a compact gaming PC for the living room. And when you look at it that way, the price starts to make a little more sense. You're getting a small form factor PC with a semi-custom AMD Zen 4 CPU, RDNA 3 graphics, 16 gigs of DDR5 memory, 8 gigs of video memory, NVMe storage, microSD expansion, Wi-Fi 6E, Bluetooth, Ethernet, and SteamOS. Could you build a bigger gaming PC for less? Probably. Could you buy a standard gaming desktop around the same price that beats it in raw performance? Yeah, I think you could. But the Steam machine is more like a console-sized gaming PC with the Steam Deck experience moved into the living room. You pay for the small size, the integrated hardware, the control support, the quiet couch gaming experience. A lot of those desktops people make aren't that quiet. And the fact that it just boots into SteamOS instead of dropping into Windows or something like that. And for Linux fans, you are paying to support the Valve push to make the gaming experience a first-class gaming experience on Linux. The bigger story is that Valve is still pushing Linux gaming forward. SteamOS is no longer just for handhelds. It's becoming a full living room platform. Hopefully, if this takes off, that price may slow it down a little. But even if Steam Machine itself ends up being a niche product, the idea behind it is still important. No, this is not going to be the affordable Gabe Cube many of us hope for. But as a compact Linux gaming PC for the living room, the price is at least easier to understand, even if still a little hard to love. And I am still hoping to get my hands on one, partly just to throw my support in for Valve and all they've been doing for Linux. But if anyone wants to help me, you can donate to the cause. And maybe you don't want to spend the whole $1,000+ on one, but you want to support them. You can help support them. Donate to me, and I'll chip that towards my Steam machine.
Yeah, I think it's probably the right call there is that think of it as a small gaming machine rather than a powerful console. There's an interesting point Keith's 512 makes it here that you could buy it and upgrade it. Like, this is not a framework. You can't expect to get new motherboards in the future, but if you want to put 64 gigs of RAM. And so like, particularly this makes sense if you look at the world right now and you go, we're in the AI craze, but that bubble is going to pop. Things are going to get cheaper. Well, you can buy the cheapest one. And then, in 6 months from now, maybe you can afford to put 64 gigs of RAM into it and a bigger solid state drive or what have you. So, it is more of a computer than it is a console. It is upgradable, which that's cool.
So maybe I gotta go for the cheaper model now and just plan to upgrade it later.
Yeah, it's not a terrible idea. You'll eventually be able to do it.
Or upgrade it now. And I haven't looked at all the prices, but sometimes it's just cheaper to upgrade it yourself.
Right, that's true. They you figure Valve wants to make a little bit of money on the upgrades too. One of their versions might be a loss leader, and they want to make money on the upgrade, so it might be cheaper to do it yourself.
Maybe.
Yep. Yeah, interesting stuff. I tell you the thing I'm really most interested in, not this. I'm waiting for the Steam Frame. I think that's going to be interesting. I think that's going to be the fun one. I
haven't heard that one.
So that's the VR goggles.
Really? Were you gone for that?
Yeah, how did you not hear about this, Jeff? We talked about it.
I must have been gone.
He must have been out in the desert riding the Indian. They made a movie about Jeff, didn't they? Riding an Indian motorcycle out in the desert.
Real fast to say.
Yeah, we had this on the show last fall sometime. I don't remember. But.
Yeah, the Steam Frame, that one is particularly interesting because it is a Snapdragon. It's going to be standalone. So you can run it one of two ways. You can either run it, and I think they're doing a wireless link. So either way, it's going to be sort of standalone, but you can do a wireless link to your desktop to get like the full graphics and full frame rate experience. Or for some games, like, you think about your games that are a little less graphically demanding, like maybe a VR chat, that sort of thing. It'll just emulate and run right on the Snapdragon. And so like there's some pretty that's going to be pretty interesting, like to untether your VR experience. Go run around on your backyard with it or what have you.
Well, for reference, like the Oculus Quest, you can do the same thing. That's already untethered, but you can hook it up to the PC and play Steam games and get a higher end experience. But for Jeff, like some of the things we implied here, the Steam Frames, that's on a Snapdragon. It's Linux on a Snapdragon though, which wasn't necessarily implied. So that's going to be some a VR headset running Linux on a Snapdragon and connected to a Linux Steam box if you want.
Honestly, I thought Steam Frame was like, Framework was going to come out with a dedicated Steam machine that would,
that too would be cool.
That would be really cool.
If you enjoyed this clip, be sure to check out the Untitled Linux Show. You can find us in your favorite podcasting app or subscribe to our YouTube channel down in the links below. See you there.